And thank mama we made it. Welcome back to Evan Ranks. I am trying to find fun new ways of starting the podcast instead of saying, "What's up, everybody?" So trying something new here. And thank mama we made it. Mama, we started a podcast, baby. And that podcast is called Evan Ranks. Evan graciously, I think both words work. Evan greatly appreciates you guys tuning in for yet another episode of Evan Ranks. The suggestions for what I should rank next are flowing. The interviewees are flowing. I had one, Marquise, cancel on me yesterday, but hey man, he just got a cat. He's trying to live up to that dad life while also cooking it up in the best restaurant in California, Delita. So Mart, no hard feelings. I will get you on soon enough. I just really like having guests. I don't want to say I'm starting to hate this solo podcast. However, it's a lot more fun with guests, and it's easier on me to talk to my guests. So, DJ Swaggy C, you are next after Josh on Friday. Let's set something up this week, man. Or let's set something up for next week. And I'll figure out what we can rank. Maybe we could do a life after college, and I just essentially interview you and we chit chat. But yeah, that's what I'm rocking with. Before I get into the topic of conversation today, I'm going to thank our tremendous sponsors, Walker's Home Services and Rocktown Excavating. If you did not already know that I have sponsors, well, here's the news flash for you that I talk about them every single podcast, and they are the sole reason that my energy levels are through the frickin' roof. Love these two guys. Love all that they do over at their businesses. If you know of anyone or you yourself might need these services, please refer a friend, phone a friend, email them, MySpace page them. I don't know, Twitter, X them. Just get in contact with them somehow because ultimately I want them to get more business from the podcast. I don't know how that's going to work, being that my listeners all support those businesses as well. But hey, refer a friend today. If you refer a friend today to their business and they buy, I will, what's something fun I could do for you guys? I will paint a face on my belly and perform the podcast like my belly is talking. There's your incentive to get my people some business. Let's get into this podcast. So, for those of you who don't already know, I am really bad at making decisions, coming up with ideas, and I look to my friends for a lot of help and advice. So the suggestions for what I rank were coming in quick. I was trying to get you guys a podcast for tomorrow, aka recording today. So I really desperately needed a topic of conversation. Y'all delivered. For one, oh gosh, there's a little burp coming. You guys are really trying to get me canceled, or you just love my dark sense of humor. I can't bust out the dark sense of humor quite yet, guys. We're trying to create a nice, firm, loving foundation here at Evan Ranks. My dark humor, frankly, might scare some people away. So let's stick to light, fun, conversational topics, such as NASCAR, vroom, vroom, left turn, ski. So I think this was T-Walk's suggestion. T-Walk, you might just have to be my idea specialist. Print that out on a business card. I will pay you. It'll be very minimal. It'll probably be like a penny an hour or something, or a penny a suggestion. But you're bringing me some good-ass suggestions, dog. Keep it up. But my top 5 NASCAR drivers of all time. I looked at this as not my top 5 favorites, but top 5 NASCAR drivers overall. Actually, now that I'm saying that out loud, let's do a hybrid. I kind of have some notes here on some people. I do want to check out, let's take a look at NASCAR Daytona's, standings, how they finished, because that'll show me every single driver. Oh, Daytona International Speedway is closed. Daggone it. What if I wanted to call you? All right, so we got some old and young drivers here. The reason I'm kind of switching it up live on the podcast is because with the older drivers, I didn't really watch NASCAR, pay attention, nor were alive for them. So it feels kind of unfair just to base the top 5 NASCAR drivers on my Google research. Ollie, hey, you got a lot to say today, boy. Come into the microphone and say it with your chest. But yeah, I didn't watch these drivers, so it's unfair to just go on Google Stats and like who has the most wins. I don't think that's a true attest to the best NASCAR drivers. I think we have had a lot of great NASCAR drivers over the years, and not all the time they win. Sometimes, like we watch Daytona, or I watch Daytona, and for those of you that think NASCAR is just a whole bunch of left turns, you are daggone wrong, because they pit, they get gas, they change tires, and there is so much physics that goes on behind this. I mean, the aerodynamics, the speed, the angles, brake, like it. You try driving inches in front of or behind a vehicle going at 200 miles per hour. You try to control it. I get on the interstate in the Ford Taurus and my steering wheel starts shaking, and that's at 70 miles an hour. So God forbid you guys try to go 200. Tommy, that's not a challenge. Please don't try to drive 200 in the Miata. Yeah. So let's start off by talking and listing a few of these people, some of which I myself did not know too much about, maybe because I only know their name and have been paying attention to NASCAR for the past year and a half. David Pearson, did not know this name. He, according to the top whatever NASCAR drivers I had researched, let's see here. Let me find that website so I can cite my sources. Y'all ever go to college and have to cite your sources? By golly, Ned, don't get me with that APA bullshit. Sports Not. That is the website. Thank you to Sports Not for coming up with some nice topics of conversation for me. So David Pearson currently ranks at number 5 on this NASCAR list. He is from the 60s and nicknamed the Silver Fox. He ended up winning Daytona 500 once and had 3 Champion Cup Series wins. He actually holds the best winning percentage in all of NASCAR. He has 105 wins and 574 starts. So short-lived career, but a lot of wins in that short time period. So felt like it was needed to mention him. Like I said, a lot of my notes come from essentially me looking up old facts like this, because I was not a fan of the sport nor alive in the 60s. But so there's one, Richard Petty, who is essentially, dude, between him and Dale Earnhardt Sr., they are the faces and spokespeople of NASCAR. Richard Petty just has a great freaking NASCAR name. I don't know what it is about it, and there's really nothing. It's just a name, but he just screams NASCAR. 7 total championship cup winners. He won 7 times. I don't know how many other ways I can say that without messing it up, but he won 7 sprint or NASCAR Champion Cup Series wins, and also finished his career with 200 total wins. That is very impressive. Arguably one of the most winningest NASCAR racers of all time, but just an all-around great spokesperson for the sport of NASCAR. Someone who kind of transcended the sport itself. I don't know. Let's see what years on this list. He's number 4. He is nicknamed the King of NASCAR, so he automatically has to be on this list. He was kind of in the 70s. The only person who has more wins than him is Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch is, I'll talk about Kyle Busch, but fuck Kyle Busch. Not a big Kyle Busch fan. He drives kind of like an a-hole, and I'm just not a big fan of his persona and his small dick energy, frankly. He's got 226 wins, though, so nothing small about that margin of wins. 3 championship cup wins and 1 Xfinity Cup win. If you are unfamiliar with the sport of NASCAR, the Xfinity Cup Series is essentially one tier below the NASCAR. So it's like AAA baseball or the G League in the NBA. Still great young racers. Still got a lot to play for, but it is not the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. So Kyle Busch, like I said, screw him. He ain't making this list no matter how many wins he gets. I don't care if he ends up winning the next 12 races. He still does not get on this ranking for me. Fuck Kyle Busch. Let's see here. How about old Jeff Gordon, the Rainbow Warrior, baby? Someone who really did not fit the demographic of NASCAR for his last couple of years of his career when he came out as a I shouldn't word it like that. It's not a negative. As he came out as gay, more than okay. I just mean that in the terms of NASCAR is sort of a redneck country sport, and Rainbow Warrior was one of the best NASCAR racers of all time. I mean, 93 total wins. He had 3 seasons with 10-plus race wins in that season, and he won 4 NASCAR Cup Series wins or NASCAR Cup championships. So, great all-around racer, great guy. I mean, I got nothing ill-will to say about Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt were kind of rivals for years, and I think it posed a lot of great things for the NASCAR community, building up the brand essentially and showing people that, hey, anybody can race. You don't just have to be a redneck that drives a Miata at 200 miles an hour. Tommy, these jokes are easy. Let's get into Dale Earnhardt Sr., man. I mean, if Richard Petty ain't the face for racing, it's got to be Dale Sr. When you think of NASCAR, what name do you think of? You think of Ollie, don't you? Hey, no, we don't think of Ollie. Ollie, stop that. Hey, trying to record a podcast. I'm trying to record a podcast, and you can't be scratching up or attempting to scratch up the couch. That's just a no-go. I'm going to have to send Scout on your ass. Yeah, I'm losing my train of topic. Ollie, God damn it, why do you have to do that to me? Dale Earnhardt Sr., tisk, 76 wins, 7 championships, like I said, face of NASCAR. He ended up passing away on the final lap of the Daytona 500, and it was a sad day for NASCAR fans. I think we all look at him as a prime role model for the sport of NASCAR, just an all-around great guy. I should have worn my Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. shirt. I got a Barstool shirt, and it has legends on it, and it's both of them just chilling. Love that shirt. It's white, so it looks like it's yellow now because I wore it and I sweat in it. But, yeah, Dale Earnhardt Sr., honestly, I feel like he just is a easy number 1 ranking there. I'm going to lock it in right now. Locked in. Dale Earnhardt Sr. as my number 1 top NASCAR driver of all time. Let's get into some of the new guys. Well, I guess I forgot one person. Jimmie Johnson, man. Jimmie Johnson is truly just a tremendous NASCAR driver, honestly, from his technique to how he handles himself on the blacktop. I don't know how you want to word that, on the raceway. Like, I don't think he ever really pissed anyone off. 2-time Daytona winner, 83 wins. He also won 7 championships. So he, on the Sportsnaut website, was ranked number 1, and I don't have anything against that. I'm going to lock him in at number 2. So number 1 is currently taken up by Dale Earnhardt Sr., and number 2 goes to Jimmie Johnson. 2 people who I really wish I got into NASCAR sooner. I don't know year-wise Dale Sr., but I know I would have been alive for at least Jimmie Johnson. 2001 was when Dale Earnhardt Sr. passed away. So I would have been literally 2 years old. So I wouldn't have been able to enjoy him. However, Jimmie Johnson, Jeff Gordon were all people who I did see on the television screen, and I wish I would have been a bigger fan then, because NASCAR is truly amazing. NASCAR is broken into 3 stages. So there's ultimately 3 different There's 3 different parts of the race in which someone can win, and then a overall winner, but you get points for your placement and stage wins, all that fun stuff. And of course, who doesn't like to watch for the wreck? As long as it's a safe wreck. I know that's kind of a double entendre or whatever the word is, messed up, but yeah. So I got my 1 and 2 already ranked in there. And then I wanted to bring up a couple of new guys. I didn't even talk about Darrell Waltrip. He's an announcer for Fox. He won 3 championships, 1 Daytona win, and had, I think it was 24 wins. He didn't race for very long, but I love his name. Let's see here, 84 wins. I just can't write. So 84 wins, 29-year career. Big on Fox Sports. He's a big guy to name. But newer guys, that's what I wanted to get into. William Byron. This is my racer. I am a big Hendricks Motorsports racing fan, so I like Byron. I'll root for Bowman, Chase Elliott, and I believe Kyle Larson is in that last bit of Hendricks Sports Racing. Those are all names that you should be familiar with if you pay attention to NASCAR currently. Byron just won the Daytona 500. He's a younger guy. He's literally only a year older than me, and he's got a pretty cool story. He actually grew up learning how to race on computers, and he knew it was fun and wanted to get into NASCAR, and he did. All-around great racer. He had a hell of a season last year. I believe he finished third in the Final Cup Championship, but ended up short, but won a lot of races last year. He's starting off the season right with a Daytona win. Kind of wanted to talk about this matchup a little bit as well, just because if you did watch the final stage of the race, this is where NASCAR is truly amazing. You're fighting for arguably the most influential, important race of the season, and you play in teams because, you know, the owner owns multiple cars, but Bowman, Elliott, and Larson all were trying to push William Byron to win this race. Like, you get behind them as close as possible in like the draft of it, or like just how it angles. It gives you speed or something or whatever else, but they ended up pushing him too far, kind of getting really aggressive, which we like to see as NASCAR fans. We like to see drivers get aggressive and try to make big moves, see the wreck. You know, it takes 30 minutes to clear up, but it's enjoyable to watch. It's cool to see the strategy behind it, but ended up taking a bad push there by Bowman, and a huge wreck happened. So they ended up starting over. I believe there's like 5 laps left or something like that. And then yet again, another driver who, this is important to note. I know I haven't talked about Dale Earnhardt Jr. at all, but I just frankly don't see him fitting on this. Let's see his stats. Dale Earnhardt Jr. I think he's a great racer. Like, don't get me wrong. I think his name essentially carried him. Oh, shoot. He won a... Dang, Dale Jr. Dale Earnhardt Jr. career stats. Let's see here. I think his name kind of did transcend him a little bit, but 19 years, 26 total wins. I believe it said that he won Daytona twice, but great racer. I just don't think he can compare to his dad. And some of these younger racers, I just think have a great future in NASCAR, like William Byron, like Kyle Larson. I think Kyle Larson, honestly, is a more talented driver than William Byron. His car runs so nice. It is so fast. He dominated last year. He won he won the NASCAR Cup Series in 2021. So he does have one championship win under his belt. He's got 23 wins. Both him and Byron are very young guys. They have a lot to look forward to, and frankly, I do see Kyle Larson being one of the best NASCAR racers. I'm calling it now, years in advance. I think him and Byron both will transcend NASCAR into something special. They don't have NASCAR names. They are not the typical demographic of a NASCAR driver. However, I think that's great for the NASCAR sport. I think it's much more than rednecks and hicks watching cars go in circles. It truly is a lot more than that. So hopefully you guys tune into some NASCAR this year. I'm going to get to my official rankings of my top 5 all-time NASCAR drivers or talented drivers. However you want to look at this, I'm going to rank my NASCAR drivers. Number 1, Dale Earnhardt Sr., baby. You can't go wrong there. Number 2, giving it to Jimmy Johnson. It only feels right because of how dominant his career was. Great all-around driver. Richard Petty gets number 3 because he kind of pioneered NASCAR into becoming something of relevance in society. Number 4 is... Oh, dude, I didn't even talk about Ross Chastain. All right, Ross Chastain will get honorable mention, not for good things, but for bad things. Give me 1 minute, though, Ross. Number 4, I'm going to short Jeff Gordon. I don't want to put him in here because I am over the moon with these 2 young guys. So number 4, I'm going to give to Kyle Larson. Pay attention to that number 5 car out there this year. He's going to be a beast. He always is. And then number 5 is going to William Byron. He's a number 24 car. My guy coming off the Daytona 500 win. Expect big things from him. That's going to be Evan Ranks' top 5 NASCAR drivers. And I'm going to get into my honorable mention of Ross Chastain. I should say dishonorable mention, because Ross Chastain, well, I guess thank you, Ross. You're the whole reason that William Byron ended up winning on Monday. He ended up causing a big wreck. Ross is notorious for making big moves, sketchy, edgy moves, whatever it takes to win. I don't mind that. The more I talk about him, the more I'm like, you know what? Screw that I don't like him for his poor aggressive driving. I now like him for the entertainment of NASCAR. But this dude's from Florida. He actually was going to be a watermelon farmer and turned NASCAR driver. My man Bobby really likes him a lot. I personally always say fuck Ross Chastain just for his poor driving, but it's strategy at this point. He likes making those big moves. It didn't work out for him for Daytona, but it gave William Byron the win, and it caused really good entertainment. So, Ross, I'm not going to shame you anymore. You get the dishonorable mention. Keep doing what you're doing as a driver, but don't cause too much havoc for my Hendricks Racing. Stranger of the Day. Yes, it is time for Stranger of the Day, where I actually have a perfect example of Stranger of the Day. This topic right here, or this character, this individual, they're not a character, they are real. They were my waitress at Buffalo Wild Wings in Harrisonburg. She gets Stranger of the Day. I ended up having a business meeting at B-Dubs. Yes, a business meeting at B-Dubs. Where else would you like to handle your business? And before any of you all ask, no, I drank water. But ultimately, when we take our clients out to a lunch, we're allowed to, sort of give it up to the company to pay for. And I forgot my receipt sitting on my table. I drive in a circle. I come back. I park the truck. I go inside. I'm like, hey, really awkward question, but that receipt you gave me, did you by chance throw it away? Yeah, of course I threw it away. Why? It's like, oh, crap. See, I can kind of like write these off from work. Is there a way I could get a receipt so I don't have to pay for my lunch or my business buddy's lunch? She's like, oh, I could just reprint the receipt. Come with me. Like, damn. For once, I go to a restaurant worker asking them something far beyond their typical job description, and she does it with a frickin' smile on her face. I don't remember what your name was, but you, my friend, at the Buffalo Wild Wings of Harrisonburg, get Stranger of the Day. Thank you for doing your job with a smile. I will do mine with a smile for the rest of the week. That's going to do it for Evan Ranks, baby. Take a left turn on out of here. Ski. Yeah. Thanks, Walker's Home Services and Rocktown Excavating. I am officially taking that left turn, and I will see you all in the next one.